Hi everybody, Russell Myers 11. Hope you are all safe and well for your channel. Please consider subscribing. Why not? What else are you going to do? I mean, Call of Duty's Call of Duty. Line of Duty's out on Sunday, so you might want to watch that instead. But if you don't, make sure you hit the like button and hit the bell icon so you made aware anytime we put new content on. As always, we'd like to thank our channel sponsors. Untuck it, check them out in the description below. We have another episode. We're rattling through these a lot quicker than I anticipated, but people like them, so that's why I'm still doing them. Another episode of the Noble Era, where we categorise every player that Mark Noble has played with in his 17 years at West Ham. Final season next year, an 18th season. So maybe we'll do like a mop-up session at the end, at the end of his career, because I'm pretty sure we'll probably build all 25 episodes. 25 because there's no players currently. We as Mark played who's selling because of X. So so we're currently up to number. Let's just do. I should have really checked this before I started hitting record, but it doesn't matter. We're up to number. We've had 51 players. 51. We've had A's, we had B's, we had C's. Can anyone guess what today's episode is brought to you by? The letter D. This way, the letter D. So we've got some great players, some not so great players, and some current players as well. So it's a nice mix, D's. We start off top of the pile. A defender who actually went a bit quiet until I think it was last season when he got sent off with former Hammer Sofian Feghouli, who will be in obviously F. But it's our former centre back. Manuel da Costa. I had a complete brain fart just then. Manuel da Costa, 40 games for the club, scored 4 goals. Loved da Costa. I thought he was a really solid player for us, really solid centre back, and he's doing really well in the Superliga, I believe it's called in Turkey, and obviously famously got sent off last year. Basically trying to decapitate Feghouli, it seemed, and it went to VAR if I remember. The next one. A club legend, a modern day club legend. He's the love of my life. I would like curly hair too, to be honest. I'd like any hair, to be honest, as long as it's not curly hairs down there, but curly hairs up there. I'd have. It's our Scottish Braveheart himself, Captain Christian Dailly. Oh God, I got so excited. I'm not Mike. 191 appearances for the club, 4 goals, 7 seasons. I'll always remember him for that sort of Braveheart address to the fans after the Ipswich game, the first playoff, the one we actually lost to obviously Crystal Palace. Glad all over. Glad all. Oh, winds me up. Still winds me up now. I can still close my eyes and see a sea of yellow shirts bopping to that in Cardiff. But anyway, regardless of that, Christian Dailly got the mic as we'd obviously beaten Ipswich to qualify for that final, and he sort of addressed the troops at Upton Park to say, "Oh, and we're going to go, we're going to win, and we're going to bring back Premier League football." And I was like, "Yeah!" Didn't work, but doesn't matter. Christian Dailly, obviously, we still sing his song when we have fans back in the stadium, and he's been on the pitch a few times at London Stadium to rapturous applause. So, Christian Dailly, number 2, number 3, not as a glittered career at West Ham as Christian Dailly. He only played 8 games across 5 months. Fabio Di Prella, the left back from Italy. Move on. Next one, another centre-back, another defender. Callum Davenport, 2 spells of the club, 24 first-team appearances, 1 goal. Ironically, the first spell, when we loaned him from Tottenham, he'd only joined about 2 weeks beforehand, and they loaned him to us for like 5 months or something like that. Then he went back, and we bought him. When he played, I thought he was a good player, a good centre back for us. We've got a lot of centre backs in the D's. We've got another one as well, our first current player as well. England's Craig Dawson, 14 appearances so far for the club as the time of recording at the moment. 4 goals in those 14 appearances. That is not a bad return on investment. You'd get those results on a striker, and you'd be happy with, particularly a West Ham striker. He's apparently one of the high scoring defenders in the English game or something. He's almost got 50 goals from defence, I believe, or current defender or something like that. There was a stat. I only half paid attention to it. But Craig Dawson, what a legend. Proved us all wrong, didn't he? He's proved us all wrong. When he signed, we were like, really? But he's been absolute rock. And just fitted into the West Ham way in terms of how he defends, and hopefully a couple more games, and then he sort of, I think then there's the automatic sort of buy clause kicks in. So hopefully we'll have him for a good few seasons. He's only 30, so he's got a good 2-3 seasons, I'd say. Next one, another centurion for West Ham, Adrian. But obviously his surname is Adrian del Castillo. He played 150 appearances, made 150 appearances for the club. Always will be remembered for the gloves off moment, won't he, against Everton in the last season at the Bowling. Always, it was poetic, wasn't it? It was beautiful. There was a slight apprehension afterwards, the sort of the what ifs. What if he missed it? He'd have to then put his gloves back on. Obviously, they're not easy to get on those gloves. You have to get someone else to help you put them on. So it's like, could have been terribly awkward, but he knew it. He was confident he was going to get it past Rubel. I can't remember the guy's name, the Everton goalkeeper, and just threw the gloves down, walled it, and then the two double knee slide into the corner right where my box was. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Next is our first player who's been on the channel in this episode. We've done a My Hammers 11 with him. I loved him. He's a beautiful man, very stylish, very well turned out. Guido Mel, 83 appearances, 1 goal for the club. Solid defender. Really always turned out lovely. He always wears nice clothes, and to be honest, he looks as fit as a fiddle at the moment. He looks like he's still doing a job for us, to be honest. So Guido Mel's in. Next one, another loan signee, this one from Torino. We had a spate of these sort of foreign-based sort of striker forwards on loan across a number of years, and I think he played about 34 appearances, scored 4 goals. David Di Michele, I like David Di Michele. He was part of what I call the patch era, when they had the shirts with the patch on, with SBO Bet going and XL going out of business and things like that. We would always have a patch. He was part of that patch era. Next one, another forward Italian, and I wish we'd had him for longer. He in my eyes, he was the true successor to Paolo Di Canio, in my opinion. Alessandro Diamanti, 30 games, 8 goals, twice the return on Di Michele. Had a wicked free kick on him, had crazy hair, and was just like a bundle of energy as well, wasn't he? I thought he was a fantastic player. Wish we could have had him for a lot longer, because I think he would have definitely a few more seasons. He'd been, up there with the others in terms of his, particularly his goal return as well, more than anything. Next one, a midfielder who left us to warmer climes. Those warmer climes being Newcastle, I believe. It's Mohamed Diame. Mohamed Diame, 79 appearances for the club, 9 goals. Always thought he was a solid player when he played for us. One of those, we had a spate, didn't we, of buying sort of big, athletic African midfielders, and he was one of them. And I thought he was a really good guy, but obviously he moved on, and didn't really work out for him as much, did it? So Mohamed's in there. Next one, a guy who obviously has ties to Mark Noble in terms of, obviously, when we sold him, he came out, and Mark came out publicly and said, we didn't want him to go, basically, that type of thing on Twitter. It's Grady Diangana, 21 appearances, first team appearances for the club, 2 goals. And obviously he went in the summer. After that first game, in my opinion, hasn't really done much since then, has he? So, and we got 18-20 million quid for him. So, in hindsight, it might be one of those good buys. At the time, it was everyone was up in arms, but looking back at it, that's a Sue check. You could always get Sue check and Sue foul for that money nowadays. So no, very good. But Grady's played over 20 games for the club, 21 appearances. Next one, a guy who didn't play so many appearances, not that many different, to be honest. Alou Diarra. Remember him? He was quite good when he was at Liverpool. Was it Liverpool he was at? 14 appearances for the club, no goals. I don't remember him at all, to be honest. I'll move on. Next one, another current player, the first of the Diop two, Issa Diop. 83 appearances for the club, 6 goals, and I still think there's a bright future for Issa in the squad. Still think so. I think he's a young lad, and he can grow into that position, and hopefully many more appearances to come for Issa. Next one was the late great Papa Bouba Diop, the fridge. Was he the fridge? Yeah, was he the fridge? Or was he the wardrobe? I can't remember, to be honest. But obviously, unfortunately, sadly, Papa passed away last year, wasn't it? He made 16 appearances for the club, scored 1 goal in that championship season, I believe, and again was an incredibly strong player, incredibly strong midfielder. Next one, a guy who, in my opinion, didn't really fulfil his potential until he was the top of the diamond. When he was at the top of the diamond, he was a revelation. I think he got back into the England squad as being top of Sam Allardyce's diamond. It's our diamond man himself, Stewart Downing. 79 appearances, 7 goals, and when he played that, do you remember? They moved into his top. Was like, what's he doing there? And he was really good. He was a different player, and never really fulfilled his potential at West Ham, I don't think, until they moved him. Then we saw the player that we should have seen a lot more of, in my opinion. And finally, moving on, it's almost like it works perfectly. A player who never really got going at West Ham, never really got going. Injury blighted his career everywhere, but particularly at West Ham. Another midfielder, another guy who I think he would have been an absolute, if he was fit and not injury free, he would have been a fantastic asset to our team, particularly around that period. Kieron Dyer, 35 appearances, no goals, and was one of those unfortunate ones where just kept on getting injured all the time, man. Just kept on getting injured. So there's the D's. A shortish one, the D's. We're actually now at 67. So 67 players Mark Noble has played with. There's a lot more to come, believe me. We've got over 200. And that's until the beginning of the season of 2018, of his 18th season, the 2021-22 season. So Christ knows how many we're going to get by the end of them. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. As I said, if you did, give it a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Watch the playlist. We've got A, B, and C's in the Noble era playlist, so you can sit back and just reminisce all those great players and not so great players that Mark's played with over these current 8 to 17 years at the club. But anyway, until next time, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get those jabs when you get your appointments. Come on, you irons, and I'll see you again for the E's. That's the wrong way. I'll see you for the letter E. All the best.